It's okay, Mr. Hello, 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 hi. I am Spantopia Rose, but you can call me Span. How are you? How are you? How are you? How are you? Today is the last day of February of the month of the whale theme. It's starting to rain. It's starting to rain. That's so nice. It's starting to rain. But I thought I would. Sorry, my dog is a bit clingy because he doesn't like the rain very much. But I thought that I would show you the watercolours that I've been working on this month in the theme of the whales. Also, yeah, I know, I cut my hair, and I know, it's probably, you don't like it, it's too short, but don't worry, it will grow back, but I like to cut my hair really, really short so that I can wait longer between the next time I have to cut it. So, I'm distracted because it's raining. I'm sorry. Okay, so I've done four watercolours. I've done 4 watercolours this month of whales, and I have not. You can see 2 of them over on Instagram right now. Actually, I'll probably end up putting these 2 up as well before, spoilers, before this video is released. So I have put this whale and this whale already up on Instagram. I was gonna do some videos of me actually creating this content, like the video I've got out of the whale tail that I did earlier in the week, the acrylic painting of the whale tail. I filmed while I was doing it, but these ones I didn't. I actually did the layers much more slowly and all at once. So I did like the background of this one, the background of this one, and the background of these 2 all at the same time, and then waited like a day and then did like the next part of the detail or the light coming through or whatever on different days, and it was just too hard to keep setting up for filming, so I decided that I would just do a little bit of a show and tell with these now. So this one is my favourite. It's the one that I put up on Instagram, and I was like, how do you know when something is finished? And I think I'm just going to call it finished because although it doesn't have the line works, the outlines and line works, I think it makes it more simple and dense, sort of dense, you know. I don't know, I like it as is, so I didn't want to ruin it. But I'm just going to cut to separate these. I'm just going to separate these with some scissors. One thing my music teacher of all subjects, and also my art teacher, but more my music teacher, used to always say was that I'm terrible at cutting out straight lines, and that's still true. That's still true. Look, the light bounces off the white paper and lights up my face. So this whale is probably my favourite. He looks like he's got a really short ass. That's what my mum used to say. I said when she was here looking at my pictures the other day, she was like, it's a short ass whale, but he's supposed to be on an angle, so this is pointing towards the camera, and then this is away from the camera, and then that's at the camera. So he's got this big head, he's got this big head, and the fins coming down. I quite like the fins. And then his tail's away, his body's away from the camera, it's behind the rest of him. And this is all the shadow of the whale and the light coming in from the top of the ocean. And this is one of my favourite things about painting whales, is the colour difference in between the light and the dark of the ocean around the whale. So the shadow cast by the whale is fascinating to me. Did you know that whales, especially the whales with the really big head, is it sperm whales? One of the whales sleeps vertically. So whales swim horizontally, right? But when they sleep, they go all buoyant and go this way. It's like a forest of whales. I'll see if I can find the image. I'll put the image up. It's really haunting. It's a haunting image of some sleeping whales. And I was going to do a painting. I was going to do a painting. I was going to do some sort of artwork, a response to how creepy and awesome I thought that was, but I didn't end up making any art from that image. So I'll just put it up here. So this is the first one that I finished and was happy with. And then I did this one, which I've already talked briefly about. It is a breaching whale, so it's got the skyline here, it's got the skyline, the horizon of the ocean in the background, and then the foreground splash where the whale has it dived up. And this is the sky up here. So the whale has it dived up out of the ocean and is breaching. And this is the whale's belly, the big whale's belly is the tail half still in the ocean with some splashes all around his little fins. Both of his fins are out of the water and he's got a little knobbly face up here. All of these started out as pencil sketches, line worked in pencil first and then coloured them in with watercolour paints. And you can see this thicker white here, this thicker white you can see just here. That's a gouache. I did gouache highlights. I really like how it doesn't have any outlines. It makes it feel more painterly and less just like a coloured in image. Okay, so the next two that I've done are whales with babies, with baby whales, mama whale and baby whale. And I really like the lighting in this bottom one. I quite like the line work on the baby whale and the lighting. I don't like the larger, blurry, messy grown-up whale, but the baby one, I think the baby one is very cute. With the light from above the ocean, he's basking in the sun rays. And then this one is supposed to be more an underground whale. I should have made this underground, and under the ocean. It was supposed to be under the ocean, but I didn't put enough saturation in the colours. It's too watered down. But I think they're kind of cute. So while I'm overall not too happy with these two, I don't hate them. The washi tape that I was using to make the like sharp lines obviously was not working, and so it's all bled over the edge, and there are many things wrong with these artworks, but they're fine. I don't mind. So I'm just gonna cut. Mr. Dodd and Mrs. Chapman were right. I'm not very good at cutting straight lines, but I don't mind so much. It doesn't. I wasn't trying particularly hard there. Sorry. So I'm just going to straighten up this edge because I do mind. Don't listen to anything I say. Alright. Alright. Well. This bit here just annoys me so much. I can't even look at it. And the fact that the paper is so warped, it's really warped around the edges. It's really not flat, like it's curved, and it's like pardon, sorry, that's fine, don't worry about it. That just irks me because that means I know that the washi tape I was using, the masking tape I was using to hold it down was really bad, and it reflects in the artwork itself and in the actual paper stability. So the idea is that the paper is held down while it's wet, and then it dries while it's stuck down, and then it doesn't warp and bend in that way. I like watercolour paper because it's thicker and it feels a little bit more like card. It's fun to tap on. This one wasn't particularly good at holding the water though. I overworked the paper a lot. You can see that here especially. And there's little scratches, and like there were little clumps of paper. Sorry, clumps of paper that had come off, and just I had to like. It wasn't great. It was a process. So the very last step I did for this painting was the outline. The whole thing was looking very wishy-washy, barely there until that strong dark outline. I like the idea that it looks like they're swimming up towards us. This guy's closer to this end, which means that like it's framed differently from how I would usually frame it. So usually you want to put where the whale's going with the larger side of the painting. So you want like the gap here to be on this side because he's going this way, but this one is framed in that it's like he's come all the way up to the edge, and this is where he's been. So it's just a little something different. But I do like the layout and the contrast between the larger whale being more purpley blue and the smaller whale being a really light blue. So the very last one I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the last one that I did. The very last one, I'm probably I was going to say least happy with it, but I actually think I'm least happy with this one. That this one is slightly better, so that's good. I really like the lines of the gouache light coming down from the top of the ocean onto the whales, and I like the way the light plays on the backs of the whales in the very top of the ocean, and our viewpoint is underneath the water looking up, the really dark ocean of the shadow below the whale, and the light shallows of the top of the ocean where the baby is, and then the light's just streaming down, streaming down into the ocean. This one I was going for having it in the centre. So while they are moving this way, it's not a focus on where they're going, it's not a focus on where they've been, it's just a snapshot of this moment where this little baby whale is just basking in the rays of the sun coming in from above. It's a moment. It's a little moment in that whale's life. I know I said earlier that I didn't like how the ink bled on this bigger whale, because I did all the line work and then I was like, actually I want to make that larger whale a bit darker, and I went in and I wet the ink and it spread, which did indeed make the whale darker. And I said I didn't like that, but it's actually formed quite a nice contrast between the crisp clean lines of the baby whale and the large broader lines of the grown-up whale. I also like the contrast between not only the lights and the darks, but the way the small whale is basking upwards towards the sunshine, feeling, you know, radiant and moving up in the world, whereas this guy is just sort of plodding along. He's a bit darker, a bit grown up, more used to the world, and it's kind of pointing down, because if you're going to dive down lower, whereas the baby's pointing up, which is just an interesting thing. Contrast, an interesting contrast. I want to say a huge thank you to my patrons for choosing whales. It's been a very interesting ride, and it's been good learning. Okay, so these are the 4 pictures that I did of whales. You can find these artworks on my Instagram page, and if you would like to show my art some support, you can head over to Instagram at Spanmade, SPANMADE, where your girl Span makes art. So, yeah. Which one is your favourite? Number 4? Number 3? Number 2? Or number 1? I think personally my favourite is actually number 2. Number 2. Number 1 is good, but I think number 2 I like better. I think I like it better. Hard to know. They could have all been better, you know. They all could have been cut better, and I could have focused on the details of actually making the physical artwork as an object rather than just the marks that I make on the paper. I could have done that better. But anyway, the sun is not shining. The rain is nice. I might go make some sort of rain sounds video, maybe. Maybe not. We've had a few. Oh no, I should do it. I should do it while it's raining, because then the rain will stop and I'll be like, God, why didn't I do that? Anyway, good night. Good night. I hope you enjoyed the whale month, and I'm fairly sure next month the theme will be mushrooms, so I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, okay. Thank you. Good night. Sleep well. Good night.